Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter. We got a great show for you tonight. We have Josh Hart joining us. Just had a great race at the NHRA Midwest Nationals, and we're going to talk a little bit about that race and also talk about his business that he has in Ocala, Florida, Bernie's Speed Shop. And so before we do that, we like to pay the bills. So we're going to run a couple of commercials and we'll be right back.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida at David Hurst Stadium. And thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Josh Hart with us this afternoon. Josh, I want to appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be able to join us tonight. I know y'all are in the hunt for a championship, but, I wanted to go back and kind of reframe on what happened at the NHRA Midwest Nationals that took place. Josh, one of the things that I looked at was some of the changes that y'all made from Q1 to Q2, and want to know if you could go into that a little bit since, y'all started off, y'all ran like a 4026 at 226 miles an hour, and then y'all were able to improve on that, running a 3786 at 331.
Yeah, so I think Ron had the tune-up nailed in Q1, but unfortunately we had a rocker stand break, and as a driver you can feel that kind of stuff, so you just better shut it off. There's nothing good going to come out of it, so that's exactly what we did. Going into Q2, it was kind of one of those, we need to make sure this is safe and that we're in the show, so we backed it down a little bit just to make sure that we could go A to B safely. Track conditions were great. Temperature was awesome. And then in Q3, we thought, okay, we're in the show. Let's really see what we can do and throw down a 366.
And I tell you what, that was really remarkable. And that 366, that's your a personal best for y'all at 333.33 miles an hour. I mean, man, need to play that number on Lotto.
Yeah, it's cool. You can always tell when you're on a really awesome pass because, believe it or not, it feels slower and smoother. But when the parachutes come out, it's kind of like taking the wind out of your lungs. So I knew we had done something. I wasn't sure that we had done a 366, but yeah, can't say enough about the guys.
Yeah, a lot of people, they don't understand the G-forces that happen after the run, the negative Gs. They always hear about the G's that you have when you take off, and they don't know, what is that kind of like, the negative G's, if you can kind of break that down for us.
Yeah, so most people are only excited about the launch, so the launch is pretty comparable to the A fuel car, but when that sucker goes 1-to-1, it's like it launches again. So that's the fun part. That's when you know you're on a good ride. But you'll never get used to the parachutes coming out. I mean, as tight as you think you're in there, my butt still comes up out of the seat a little bit. And you're always grateful that the parachutes come out, but you're hoping that there's a little bit of air in your lungs while you're slowing down.
Now, in eliminations in E1, you actually ran against Scott Palmer. A great guy, real big into drag racing, and even loaned one of his cars for Travis Pastrana to try out after the Midwest Nationals. But you ran against him, and y'all end up running a 369 at 334 miles per hour. Um, was there anything different between that run and eliminations in E2 against Mike Salinas?
No, not really. I mean, I've been working a lot with our car boss, Dave Gatterell, and he's been trying to really implement shallow staging and better 60-foot, better ETs, and cutting a good light on top of it. So I've been learning a lot as a driver. So when you go up against Palmer, I got a lot of respect for him. I mean, all the guys that were in the show were fast cars, so you can't take it lightly. But we were definitely trying to shallow stage to get that ET down so that we had lane choice going into the second round.
And I tell you what, you look at your reaction times throughout the weekend; they were really good reaction times. And matter of fact, you ended up winning on a hole shot, I believe it was against, was it Sean Langdon, or no? That was actually against Mike Salinas. That you had a real good reaction time and was able to beat him off the line to grab that win to go to E3.
Yeah, Salinas again. I mean, they have been unstoppable this year. I don't know what our record is versus each other, but I'm sure he's in the lead. So you just can't take any of these cars lightly anymore. I mean, the competition has got to be of epic proportions this year for every race. Top Fuel's just been very cutthroat.
Yeah, a lot of people always, just look pretty much to pro stock and pro stock motorcycle as, real tight fields. But you're starting to see that in funny car and top fuel as well. So the competition is pretty fierce if you really start looking at how everyone qualifies on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know how many cars were in the 60s, but I know it was a lot. And compared to last year, that's definitely turning up the heat a notch. So um, again, you can't take anybody in the other lane, for granted. It could jump up and bite you at any moment.
Right. Now, you had a pretty good run against Sean Langdon. Both of y'all were both in the 370s. You were able to, you know, edge him out a little bit by, I think it was 300s at the stripe. And I think you ran 326 miles an hour. That gave you the round win to go ahead and take on Steve Torrance in the final.
Yeah, I give all the credit for that one to the team. I mean, a 70 light against Langdon is unacceptable, and I knew that going into it. So call it distraction, call it whatever you want, but I know that I was not on point during that race. And when I saw the wind light click on, I just think, thank you for Ron Douglas and the guys. I mean, I uh, I was excited, but you can't make a mistake like that. I think I was a 70 to his 51 or something like that. And um,
In
but
Langdon, he is a tough customer when it comes to reaction times, and I think the reason what has made him so good over the years is him being a sportsman racer and bracket racing, for several years before he got into the pro ranks, and kind of carried over. Now, for me to go from a sportsman tree to a pro tree, I'm terrible. So I don't know how Sean's able to do that, but I am like, my number starts with a one when I try to run on a pro tree. Now you face Steve Torrance in the final. Um, Steve was able to edge you out just by a little. Um, the run looked great. Both of y'all pretty much was side by side all the way down.
yeah, the track was tricky. So the left lane, to me, felt more unstable than the right lane as long as you were in the groove. But the groove on the right lane kind of veered towards the center line. So if you could see it and you could stay in it, it was very consistent. So I was little disappointed that we chose left lane. I could feel the car moving around more than it did in the right lane. But bottom line is we put a new engine in it and the sucker slowed down. And again, the driver just didn't do his job. I had a 48 light to his 27, and in eliminations against four-time champion, you can't do that. You got to bring everything that you got, and we didn't do that. So
Well, I tell you, I think a 40 light's pretty dang good on over there running Top Fuel and Funny Car. That's to me, it's a pretty good light. And the champ, he's up and he's trying to make his run here in the last the four races, including the Midwest Nationals, to another championship. But hey, y'all have had a great beginning of the weekend and finished on a top note, and now we all are only 64 points out. Uh, and of course, the last race of the year is in Pomona. Is points and a half. So, do y'all feel pretty comfortable going in next to Texas and Las Vegas and then over to Pomona to have a pretty legitimate shot at becoming champions this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think as humans, we're trying to train our brains to be grateful for beating the other 14 cars that weren't in the final. But as racers, we want more. So comfortable is not a word that I would use. I would just say that it's the finals. We're going to throw everything that we can at it. We don't want to end the season with a bunch of shiny parts. We want little shiny golden guys.
Exactly, exactly. And I tell you what, your pit crew, they do a great job for you. And I actually have some pictures of this past weekend, and I wanted to go through and see if you wanted to talk a little bit about them. First of all, we have this one right here.
Yeah, I mean, that run was awesome. It was smooth as could be. Um, Again, I didn't think that it was a 366. I thought it was like a 69 or just a high mile an hour run, but the combination there was pretty flawless. So definitely thank you to the crew and thank you to Ron Douglas. That was an awesome shot.
And of course, we got you at the other end of the track on the top
That's,
end.
that's the part where the air exits your lungs and you're going, man, I'm grateful this thing's slowing down.
I think that's the one of the burnouts that you were doing. Here's a picture of some of your crew. Look like they're getting ready to put on the supercharger or take it off there.
Yeah, those guys are the ones that deserve all the credit. I mean, I'm the jockey that gets to hit the gas, but Dustin, Bob, Scotty, they're all awesome, and they really can flip that car around in 45 minutes. So if you want to watch the real show, you need to watch what happens in the pits.
Exactly. It's really neat how everyone coordinates and is able to work on that car. Of course, you got the cylinder heads guys, you got the guy working on supercharger, you got the bottom end guy. I mean, it's just neat how they can all work at the same time and never trample on each other.
Yeah, it's very well orchestrated. I like to say well orchestrated chaos. So
It is really neat how fast y'all can turn those cars around. With this momentum that y'all are having here at the end of the season, how do you think that's going to help y'all moving on to 2023? And of course, the first race of the season is at Gainesville Raceway again. And I think that is something that the NHRA will probably continue on doing is have Gainesville as the first race.
yeah, I don't know who actually makes that schedule, but it's a logistical nightmare. You'd think that they'd start in Gainesville and kind of work their way up northeast and then over to the west, but instead we're going to burn a bunch of fuel going back and forth. But as far as momentum goes, very, very blessed. Again, we've been able to retain all the same crew members. Uh, the health of the team is very, very good. They all seem happy. We all work together. Um, Ron Douglas has been amazing, both on and off the track. So coming into this is what I'm calling my first full season because I'd never done one before. I think if we're in the top five, I would probably be happy. Obviously, we want more than that. And then going into next year, we're just that much further ahead because it's all the same players.
Exactly. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your major sponsor, R&L Carriers, and the partnership that y'all have there. And the one thing that I really like seeing is they're not out on the parts midway talking to people. They're right there at your pit, talking to people, trying to get them recruited to become drivers. And whose kind of idea was that to actually put them there in the pit with y'all, which I think is a a bigger draw for them than it would be sitting them out there in the midway.
Yeah, so that was actually a lot of teamwork between myself and their marketing team, which is just off the charts awesome. Their goal was to demonstrate that, they weren't paying me a bunch of money just to run this race car. It's an honest effort to bring talent to their workforce. So the more personal touch has kind of been the motto all the way through. They really are trying to recruit as many people as they can. They have a great foundation, awesome benefits. It's truly a great company to talk about, to work for. There's no smoke and mirrors. Everybody uses them, and the more you familiarize yourself with their establishment, you'll find that it's true. I mean, it's the real people. It's an awesome deal.
Yeah, I think that's neat. People can come over. They're going to come over anyway, and they're going to watch the pit crew work on the car. And with them right there to be able to talk to the fans just gives them a better opportunity of grabbing their attention and say, "Hey, have you ever thought about driving for us? Have you ever been a truck driver?" Talk to them about schooling and how they can get their license. I think it's a wonderful thing that you and R&L carriers have done.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a growing program. Second time I've said it in the last 2 days, but they did join us for next year. We're super proud about that, and I think that they understand that this is a long term deal where they're going to really see some ROI.
Yeah, I mean that is always a great thing to know that you're going to have a marketing partner going into the following year. Um, I have some questions coming up here off the side, but I want to give them the opportunity instead of just typing it in, me throwing it up on the screen, is for them to call in and ask some questions. So I'm going to throw my telephone number up there and tell them don't be shy. Go ahead and call in. We would like to hear what you might have to ask Mr. Josh Hart here. We'll give them a few seconds and see if they're willing to do it. Sometimes people are a little shy and they really don't want to call in, but here we go. It says, "Love that way that you looks at the squashing up." Let's see. Oh, she wants to know, what does the tire shake feel like?
Oh wow! So there's one Tylenol, two Tylenol, and three Tylenol tire shake. One Tylenol is when it shakes just briefly before it hazes the tires. Two Tylenol is when you can catch it and you actually pedal it so fast that you're able to complete the run. And then there's three Tylenol shake, which is takes about an hour for your eyes to refocus. Your brain feels completely out of place and uh, not a good situation. A lot of things break. Motor mounts break, rear ends break. Sometimes the wing struts break, body panels tear. So imagine what that's doing inside of your body.
Right. And then the other one, she said that she liked the way that the slick squashes down when you're doing your burnouts and stuff. So, yeah, a lot of people don't understand. And when you take off, you get that tire wrinkle. Uh, but my favorite part is I like when y'all start to do y'all's burnout, I like to see that tire grow in size. I've always thought that was really, really neat. Well,
Yeah, the contact patch is relatively small.
now how many tires do y'all usually go through in an event?
We will carry six sets, and that's kind of a loaded question because you could go out there on a brand new set of tires and chunk one, which means the rubber literally pulled off and stayed glued to the track, and that's it for that set. But in theory, you should get 6 to 8 runs per set of tires.
And it's very important when y'all do the tires that they are measured to make sure both of them on each side is the same. That's a really big deal. because if you get one that's a little smaller than the other, it can create the car to veer one way or the other.
Yeah,
And so I know that's very important.
there's no Harry Hog staggered set for turn 4 in a dragster. So we tease our tire guy pretty good, but he does a real good job. Doug Wilson, he's awesome. He makes sure those babies are perfect.
All right, she said, my son wants to someday be a top fuel driver. He races juniors now. And I tell you what, that is a great program, Josh, for kids to get involved with at a young age. And I think it's neat now that the NHRA has, dropped that age back a little younger, where kids can get more experience and learn on the track by themselves. I think they start them out now at 5, where they can run down the track by themselves. But it's a great program. It keeps kids motivated to keep up their grades in school, because I know most of these parents, hey, if you can't keep up your grades, guess what? You're not going to drive the junior next weekend at the races. So it's a great motivator there. And also, they get to learn a lot of driving skills at the same time.
Yeah, I think about it quite often when I'm strapping my 2-year-old into her car seat. I think, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stomach this when she's running a top fuel car if I'm the one that's got to strap her in. But she loves cars, and I encourage it. It's a good lifestyle, and most of the people out there in our arena are pretty good people. So um, it's a good path.
Yeah, I know that you have a big love for cars. I know y'all hold car shows at y'all's shop. And actually, I think this photo right here is an event that y'all held a while back at y'all's shop.
Yeah,
And man, look at the vehicles that showed up.
that was actually like 2015 or 16. Now, where all those cars are, we've replaced them with new buildings to complement, uh, candy apple paint jobs and leather shops, and we've got a brand new showroom right there in the middle. So we have not done a car show since I believe 2019, um, mostly due to
Well, when y'all
COVID.
get to
But
do one,
when we do,
when y'all get ready to do one, let me know. I will do my best to help promote it in any which way I can, to get y'all a great turnout.
appreciate that.
I've got to know a lot of car clubs over the years up here in Northeast Florida, which I do a lot of charitable car shows myself. And I kind of got a little bit of a partnership with them. I know them so well that I can't even be a judge at my car show. I have to go around and get other people to judge, even though I wouldn't be biased. But some people may think I'm being biased when certain ones win. So I take myself out of that category when I when I put one on. But this right here is actually inside of one of y'all showrooms, correct?
Yep, yep. That's actually all service department now. Uh, I think we've got 12 lifts in that same area, and we're rocking in that service department. The new showroom is about 4 times that size, and it is completely loaded with anything you can dream of classic car. And overall, I think we're now at about 100,000 square feet under roof. So anything you can dream of, Bernie's can build it.
Now I seen one thing that y'all done a while back to a car, and I want to say it was a '71 Cuda, and y'all was putting one of the new Hemi motors, the Elephant, in that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
How did that
Yeah,
turn out?
we have a slightly crazy customer. He's also one of my favorites. His name is Ken Lohr, and he actually owns three 71 Cudas. We did one with the Hellcat, one with the Demon, which is a convertible, and then we did the Elephant car. So purple, green, and highlighter yellow, and he owns all of them. I think his intentions are to give one of them to each of his kids. And just a totally awesome guy. He comes in, he says, I got plenty of stuff I want to do, but you got a blank slate. Just build me something cool, and that's what we came up with. And he's been an awesome fixture around the Bernie shop.
Well, I tell you what, y'all do build some really nice rides. I have seen some firsthand myself, and I mean, look at these rides right here. Just beautiful.
I appreciate that. Yeah, our guys are second to none. They all hold themselves to a very high standard. They believe in quality over quantity, and they love what they do. So kind of like not really working. So we put out
Now,
some pretty
y'all
cool.
also take cars on consignment. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're a little choosy about the consignments, but we do have anywhere between $3 and $5 million at all times in classic car inventory in the showroom for sale.
And I tell you what, that really helps the people out a lot to be able to take them to a place like yours, pretty close to I-75, beautiful showroom that y'all have there. Because it's kind of hard to get someone to come out to your house to look at a vehicle nowadays, and for y'all to have that business as well going, uh, really helps a lot of people out.
Yeah, and it helps us too. We can't buy them all, but we've got some really great customers with awesome collections, and sometimes they just want to trade one out for a new ride, and sometimes they just want to thin the herd a little bit. So we're happy to help any way we can.
Now, what kind of vehicles do you like to collect?
I'm
Fast
very
ones, right?
yeah, I'm very Hemi oriented. I like to tell people Ford took me fast, Chevy took me faster, but nothing can touch my Hemi. So if it's got a Hemi in it, there's probably one laying around.
And I tell you what, I used to be a Ford guy for a very long time. Even when I first started getting into drag racing, I raced a Ford Mustang, got out of it, and bought a Mercury Cougar. And people kind of laughed when they saw the Mercury Cougar come out to the drag strip. And we were doing Pinks All Out. Uh,
Oh,
we were doing that event, and I took my Mercury Cougar out there, and some cousins of mine came from Georgia, and they're sitting up there in the stands, and the people around them started laughing at my car when I brought it out. But my cousin said after I made the pass, they sit down and they didn't laugh no more. But I eventually got out of the Fords, and now I own a 2014 Charger that I race. It's been a great car. It's got 142,000 miles on it. It's got a nitrous bottle in the trunk and some other things done to it. But it's always been a sound vehicle, and the only thing I've ever done to it uh, was to replace a water pump. That just goes to show you how well that Dodge builds their motors.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Lately, I've been chasing a 2003 Hummer One, but I want the actual truck version, the two-door version. And my wife thinks I'm slightly crazy because I think top speed on it's 59 miles an hour, but it'll prevent me from getting in any trouble with the lull, and it can also go through 3 feet of water. So
There you go. I tell you what other marketing partners that y'all might be able to come on board for 2023
well,
besides just
there's one right behind your head there. TechNet's been with me for about 8 years, and we're working through some contract stuff with them now for a multi-year deal. So very excited about that. It's a byproduct of Advance Auto Parts, and Bernie's does a tremendous amount of business with Advance Auto Parts. So I'm 99% certain that we'll be fine with them. And HLC Trucking, right here behind me, they, they they've been with me since I started, clear back to the Super Comp days, and they do mostly like dump truck, gravel, sand, stuff like that. And OWV Excavating is still on board, so um, I'm very, very fortunate in that department. Our relationships are much deeper than just putting the name on the race cars. We work really, really hard to make a B2B relationship work for both of us.
and I tell you that in today's market, that's what you you have to do. It's not about throwing names on your car and getting paid for it. You've got to be able to help them improve their sales at the same time that they're helping you, or they're going to lose out in the long run. And so companies go in there right now, they're kind of back office. So you really have to get into your marketing portfolio with them and explain demographics, how you can help them out. Uh, like R&L carriers, how y'all are helping them out right now, utilizing your pit area to bring fans up, have the opportunity of gaining employment at the same time. All of them are very important things, especially the demographics and how many people will see their name on your car every weekend. Because advertising is pretty much like kind of like I really don't like using that word, but brainwashing. But those logos and stuff are not on there just for us. But those logos on those cars for those spots that they pay for is also for kids to see, and they will get familiar with that name and that product. So they are able to purchase their stuff later on down the road.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
R&L's deal is second to none. I mean, they really, really focus on quality over quantity, which is something I believe in. But it's easy to talk about. I can't reference that enough. Um, I probably get 50 text messages or screenshots a week. People are like, "Hey, I just saw an R&L Carriers truck." um, it's just unbelievable the awareness that NHRA has helped kind of bring to the brand. So
and I'm glad they're making some moves like that. Years ago, Josh, if you didn't have like a performance parts company on your vehicle, that was the only way that you could actually get a sponsor drag racing. And now the market has opened up so much that, I mean, the sky's is the limit now. It doesn't have to be something associated with motorsports. It can be a new company, say if McDonald's just came out 2 weeks ago and they're starting to open up stores.
hmm
You'll see McDonald's, which they have sponsored before in the past. But just saying a new store like them that's coming out in the market, they can utilize and become a marketing partner with one of these NHRA teams to help them sell their product. And I'm glad that the market has opened up because I think it makes it easier for the teams to find marketing partners
yeah, I
than everybody trying to fight over the same guys.
yeah, there's plenty of people out here, and I think as far as marketing goes, it's kind of like everybody needs to just think outside the box a little bit. Um, Not that the inside of the box is contaminated, but we need to bring new blood into NHRA. We need to bring new sponsors, new people, new viewers, new fans. And NHRA has the ability to make new stars. It's very repetitive and very redundant on all their social media. It's the same people all the time, over and over. And I know that if you win a race, you'll get the notoriety. But I like the Doug Foleys and the Buddy Halls, and those guys are busting their butts to participate, and they get little to no reward. And I don't think that's right.
Right.
So I saw Lex June in Indianapolis. He's a heck of a good guy. So I think they just need to spread the wealth a little bit, start thinking outside the box, and one way that they could do that is looking at this Stampede of Speed coming up next week. It is more like a festival environment. It's a week long with amazing, performances. So a lot of the people that are even attending that arena may not even know what drag racing is, but they're going to be aware of it now because they've brought such a different outside of the box approach to that event. So that's just my opinion. Quality over quantity, and maybe less races and more festival type environment like the Stampede of Speed. It's one of my favorite events.
And I tell you, you hit the nail on the head there, talking about giving those drivers notoriety. You know, like starting this podcast and stuff. I watch Joe Costello a lot, and I watch the West Buck show, and Joe, he likes to usually get a lot of the winners on, and West Buck, he concentrates on all different types of drag racing. PDRA, NHRA, Pro Mod, NMRA. I mean, the sky's the limit over there. And what I decided to do here, it doesn't matter if you win or you don't win. Everybody has a story to tell. Just reach out to someone and say, "Hey, come on in." And usually, like, "You really wanted me to come on the show?" Exactly. I want you to come on the show. You have a story to tell. It doesn't matter that you're sitting 10th in points. Just to get you on the show might give you an opportunity when it gets broadcast all over the place in Facebook. Someone may be able to see it and say, "Hey, I like that guy's attitude or that woman's attitude. I'm going to give them a call. They're having a hard time with money and marketing. I'm going to give them a call. I like their attitude. I may go ahead and sponsor them in some way."
Yep.
And that's why I think these podcasts are very important, because y'all really don't get a whole lot of time on FS1 and Fox. I mean, it's just little snippets at top end of the track, and there's more to the story than just those few little sackets at the end of the top end.
Yeah, I think this is an awesome opportunity for anybody that's willing to participate. And to be truthful with you, anybody that actually arrives at a NHRA sanctioned event on a top fuel level deserves an award, in my opinion. I don't believe in participation awards, but it's a story to tell on how you got there. So it's a crazy financial burden. There's always issues on the road. These truck drivers, they deserve a lot of credit. And I'm not just saying that because of RNL. I'm saying, like, my truck
Right.
drivers, their butts, they're gone 26 weeks out of the year. It's just a crazy commitment to make this all happen. That
Yeah, while most of the crew and the drivers are at home, they're on the road.
mhm.
They got to bring the car back, got to get everything restocked. They got to get back on the road and start heading to the next track that's on the schedule.
Yep.
And you're right. They do put in a lot of hours, and it's very important. I mean, I would like to have crew guys come on. Someone who works on supercharger, someone who works on top end, bottom end, and discuss of all the things that is related to their job. I
Yeah,
think it's all very important.
that would be great, and that would definitely set you apart from everybody else.
And any of your crew guys would like to come on one night and talk, hey, I'm more than willing to have them on. I think it would be a great discussion, and I think it
Awesome.
may actually help young kids in a career path change. If there's something they really don't want to, they don't know what they're going to do in life, and they hear some of these guys' stories, they may say, hey, you know what? I might want to be a mechanic. I may
Hmm.
want to become really good and be able to work on one of those teams. And so it helps our young people out at the same time.
Absolutely.
Well, Josh, I tell you what, it's been great having you on here tonight. Like I said, I do appreciate it. I'm going to share this on to some other Facebook social sites, so a lot of people's going to be able to see it. And I tell you what, I wish you the best of luck the rest of the year. Uh, it people just don't know how difficult it is for y'all, all the traveling that y'all do back and forth throughout the year, and you only get a short break, and it's all back. It all starts over. But now, since Gainesville is now the starting point, it does spread it out about another month before y'all have to start hitting the road.
Yeah, I'm very blessed to be a part of this whole organization. So um, I'm up for the challenge with all the work. Very grateful for all of our supporters, all the fans. Very grateful for this interview. So it's been a pleasure talking to you.
I tell you what, tell Brittany I said hello and give that little girl a kiss on the cheek.
Yes, sir. We'll do.
She's growing like a weed.
Yeah, she caught me off guard there in Charlotte. I don't know if you saw it or not, but she walked out on the stage and kind of threw her arms up like this, and she went from shy to not so shy real quick.
It's all good, and I tell you what, she and Steve Torrance's little girl, they might grow up as really good friends
Yeah, yeah, they actually
because
do
I know
play.
they take her to the track a lot.
Yeah, they do hang out at the track a little bit. So
Well, that's good. Well, I do appreciate it, Josh. Take care, and maybe at the end of the season, maybe I can actually come down there to your shop and we can do this live there with you at your shop if that's something that you may be interested in.
yeah, would love to. You can update those pictures. It's changed a lot.
I got a young guy just jumped on. Jeremy said he went to his first drag race this past weekend in St. Louis.
Well, thank you, Jeremy. I hope you had fun. I hope you got to feel the top fuel pound in your chest, and welcome you back anytime.
Well, you take care, Josh, and I'll see you later.
Yes, sir. Bye bye.
Bye. All right, there goes Josh Hart. Man, what a great interview with Josh. Talking about everything that had happen at the Midwest Nationals, and man, they gained some big momentum there. Now only 64 points behind first place. Got 3 events left. Double points there at Pomona at the end of the year. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about some other things that is going on in motorsports this weekend. Is the NHRA Division II bracket finals will be taking place at South Georgia Motorsports Park on October the 6th, which started today through Sunday the 9th. And I tell you what, yours truly is going to be out there. We're going to try to take pictures if they allow us. We may even try to live stream the event for everyone to watch. Also this weekend, NASCAR Cup Series travels to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Bank America 400, and that will take place on October the 9th, Sunday. But this Saturday, the NASCAR Xfinity Series will race at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Driving for the Cure 200. Again, like me and Josh was talking, we were talking about Texas Motorplex, the Stampede of Speed. Now, the NHRA Pro drivers will be there on October the 13th through the 16th, but this actually begins a whole lot earlier than those dates. So if you're out in Texas, take care and take the time and watch it. Go out there and support it. Also, Josh Hart has Bernie Speed Shop there and located in Ocala, Florida. Hey, if you got a ride and you want something done to your vehicle, want to upgrade it, you want to sell it, give them a call at 352-307-1968. And I tell you what, they'll take real good care of you. They're really great people. Josh and Brittany, I've known them now for several years, and you can ask for better people to do business with. So just stay tuned to On the Spot Motorsports Media, and we will try to have updates of the drag race going on up there at South Georgia Motorsports Park, Division II bracket finals. And I know Friday night is going to be a big race. They have the Race of Champions that will take place. That's where all the track champions across this Division II will go there and race in their respective classes. So, and each one of them will win a Wally. And then they will have to come back on Saturday and start all over again in eliminations. And the winner there will punch their ticket in their respective classes again to go to Pomona for the finals. So we are actually looking forward to going up there this weekend. I will be participating myself. And maybe we can get some winter luck and go a few rounds. But until next time, y'all take care.